Today on my channel, Planner and Faith Friends, we're going to work on gratitude and a gratitude section in here for November. I know it's early, but I have a gratitude section in here and I haven't been in it in a little hot minute, shall we say. It's probably been about over 2 months. And with November on the horizon in the States, that is the month of Thanksgiving, I want to reset and redo. So we're going to create a section in here. We're going to have fun. And I'm going to share with you what gratitude does for you mentally, physically, spiritually, and so on. So pull up a cuppa and join me, friends. Please stay tuned. Hello, Planner and Faith friends, and welcome to my channel. I am one crafty Dolo. My name is Dolores. Dolo's a nickname, and I'm glad you're here with me today. On Sundays on my channel, it's always about Jesus, faith studies, faith journaling, prayer journaling, and I always have a good mug of hot tea. And I just heated this up. I do that periodically when I'm working. I work from home, etc. I've always got my tea and then I'm always heating it up. Okay, this is a mini happy planner and a wonderful space. And what I want to do in here is improve the gratitude section. Now, I added 2 sections in the back here. Let me just show you. This is a mini vertical planner and I'm using it. Currently, it houses a study of the Psalms, and I can link some videos for that. But this section here, I write. So I write on Medium. I'm writing about things. I'm talking about them. I mean, this is my notes section. And then in the back here, I put gratitude. And as I said, it's been about 2 months since I've been in here. And it's time to change that. So I want to change this up a bit. We're going to take the little birdie out. And I'm going to grab some supplies. And yes, friends, I have my notes here. So I'm going to talk to you about gratitude and what it does for us and spiritually and even physically. So let me grab some supplies and let's get busy, friends. Okay, so I dug into my stash. First off, I've got some filler paper. I've got some colored filler paper. I don't know if I'm going to use this. I think this goes with that. I also have these. These are outdated dashboard inserts. I have a creative journal that I'm using with these inserts, but these are just sitting here and I can redate them. I can use them. I like these small spaces, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use them or not. I don't know. Of course, I have these gratitude sheets. So we have all that. That's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is this. This is something I have had forever. These are old Bo Bunny chipboard stickers. And they've been sitting with me for probably 5 years. And I don't know why. I'm being honest with you. I don't know why. But I think these would be really pretty to use. I mean, I bought these at Tuesday morning, way back when, right? And then I have this, which I did pick up from Michael's a while ago. I'm going to do it sideways since my desk is kind of crowded. The only thing with these packs is that they are one-sided, but you know what? So what? I think I can come up with something really pretty. There's lots of florals in here, and I don't know. I just feel like I can have some fun with this and it'll fit nicely. And then you've got these pages. I mean, there's so much in here. Why not use them, right? So I thought I could dig into this pack today and see what I'm going to use, and we can cut and we can chat, and then, yeah, I know I'm making a mess, right? And then there's these too, which I can add in, which I really like. So I am going to take one of these, okay, and make it go slowly, 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 friends. And I will, once I decide what I'm using, I will be glad to discuss all the gratitude things with you and get going here. I just need to get settled. Sometimes I come on here with an idea of what I might do. And then other times, yeah, I think we're going to use this too, although it might be too wide. You know what? I bet these are too wide. Yeah, okay, so we can wait on those. Those would work in like an A5. This is really pretty, isn't it? Well, that's really pretty. We could have fun with this. Maybe. That's a definite maybe. We'll decide momentarily. This is pretty, but if I have the other, I think this would go well with that. So yeah, I'm gonna pull this out and figure out what the heck I'm doing here, friends. Okay, friends, so I picked out something very plain as well, but I think this is where we're going to head with this. So let me see here how I'm going to do this, and then I will begin and we can chitter chatter and learn together because I did a bit of research for today. So as I said, I haven't been keeping up with gratitude, and I'm not thrilled about that with myself. I'll be honest, I am not thrilled about that, but you know, this has been, okay, so this side, right? Or do we want this side? No, we definitely want this side. And life is kind of lifed a little bit, and I'm okay. Please don't misinterpret me. I am fine and coping and doing well, but you know, things have been a bit much, my goodness. And so how do you reset? And that's exactly what I'm doing today. We are resetting. November is a time we can have a fresh start and we can grow together. I think that's really important, and a month to focus and so forth. So why gratitude? Why practice gratitude? Why do you have to even start practicing gratitude? And what does it do for you, right? And I will cite my sources as I am prone to do, friends, in this. So, and I will add them in at the end here because as an academic and educator, citing sources is important. Alrighty, so first off, I want to share a few Bible verses with you. Hold on, they're in these notes. Okay. One of my favorite verses of all times is first off, my favorite gospel is Matthew. But the verse is Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. And Jesus says this, and the question I have for you and for me is, do we live it? And the answer is no, we don't always live it. Well, what gratitude does, it gives you a chance to reset. And there's what it takes away from you, such as anxiety, and there's what it brings to your life. So yeah, it's a chance to really reboot. Another verse is from Philippians 4, verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Wonderful scriptures, a wonderful starting point for today, in my opinion. So what I wanted to share then is, in terms of what we're doing for November and why, okay, think of it this way. If you're here on a Sunday, I assume you're a person of faith. And one of the things we're supposed to do and see is the good around us. There's the good we need to put into the world, but there's also the good we have been given, right? And that's where practicing gratitude does come in. In the secular world, they talk about mindfulness, which is part of it. Certainly, you're living a mindful life when you're grateful. They talk about living with intent. I agree with that too. But I also agree that as a Christian, it's a little bit more than just that, okay? Yeah, this is good. It's more than just intention and mindfulness. There's a higher purpose for us to practice gratitude and a higher reasoning that we are meant to share and do. And I think, I almost like that. It's a little thin, a little small. I should have thought of that and done it sideways. I actually like that, but that's okay. Anyway, sorry. We have to think about, you are going to affirm the good in your life, the good around you, and including the simple things, or as I like to always say, little things matter. You know, I say that all the time if you've been here. Here's a quote from mindful.org, which I think is really pretty good, actually. Expressing gratitude fosters deeper connections, improves communication, and helps build a supportive and social network. That's interesting to me because, in all honesty, I am a total introvert, nerd girl. Proudly so. I find no flaws in that. But socially, it can even help you to practice gratitude. And I think that's something in my research when I read that, I thought, I don't know that I would, have thought of it socially. But gratitude, according to this site, which is mindful.org, says we should have gratitude for the people, places, situations that add to your life, and I added in to your heart, right? So what is gratitude going to do for you? Let's start with the mental, the physical, and, I guess I should probably start with the spiritual side, though, because this is religious. What am I going to do? Well, let's build up to that, shall we? Okay, so first off, it is a mood and mind booster, okay? There is, well, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to use this my mother passed away, and I knew she would eventually pass away, but it was kind of sudden because she went from vibrant and healthy and lovely and had a diagnosis in like 2.5 months. She was gone. So the end came pretty sudden. I'm still, you know what? I'm reeling from it still. But how do I practice gratitude? Am I glad my mother is gone? No, clearly I am not. But I'm glad I had her. I'm glad that God chose her to be my mother. And that every day is something that if I miss her, I get choked up, I get sad. I think what a blessing I was given by being given a very good and loving and present and thoughtful mother. Not glad she's gone, but I'm glad I had her. And that's key here. And within practicing gratitude, the other thing that it does, in my opinion, for me, is that it helps me to focus even on the trials and the tribulations, that good comes out of those. And that's not always easy to do, as I'm sure you know. But here's the thing. What gratitude does and what it fosters in us is, it boosts your mood. It boosts your mindset. Look at yourself and say to yourself in the moments, what good in my life have I overlooked? What have I overlooked? What have I really not seen or been as present for? What have I missed? And that's a different way of thinking in many ways. What have I missed? The thing is that the world fosters the negative and God fosters the positive. So to bring God in, I'm just checking this. Did I do this right? It looks a little tall. I did it with the, let me see here. Well, I can cut that down. You know what? I can cut that down a little when I have to. I just want to get this in because this is going to be the cover, I believe. Yeah, I'll cut it down just slightly. You know what? And the world, God versus the world, is something I talk about a bit on this channel. God first fosters the positive, well, the world fosters the negative. And by practicing gratitude, we're saying to the world, you're not going to win. No matter what I'm facing, no matter what I'm doing, you are not going to win. And I do think that's important, friends. I really do. Yeah, I just do. It's such a mindset to say, the world tells you you're not enough. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have. Yeah, that's better. And so how do we push back on that? We push back on that with gratitude, right? So do I want to put this on the back here? I might, which means I'm going to have to, okay. This is going to take some work, but we can do this. I know we can. I think we have to trim this top too. A lot of times I will cut them a little bit longer just because I think it's a good idea. You know what I can do? I can adhere it and then cut it. Maybe that's what I'll do. Anyway, so the truth is, by fostering gratitude, you take yourself out of the world and pull yourself closer to God and to Jesus, and to be aware and understand all you have been given, because it's easy to think, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, yeah, but what do you have, right? And so practicing gratitude is a way of being closer to God, being closer to Jesus, and it really, really makes a huge difference, friends. Okay, I just readjusted the camera. What gratitude does, it also reduces anxiety. It decreases your stress hormones. There's a physical reaction to practicing gratitude, which may sound crazy, but it's honest and it's true. And I believe that I'm kind of living proof of this, because I cut a little more there. Having suffered from serious anxiety for years, now I'm doing better, and I think largely because of the practice of gratitude. What I'm going to do here is do it the opposite way of how I did it there. In other words, I'm going to glue it, adhere it, then I will punch it and so forth. I think that's what we're going to do here. Okay, friends, just a FYI. So this is going to be this way, right? So I want to do it over here. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, we got this. Anyway, just some thoughts there to add to it. There's physical, as I said, mental, and of course your relationship, spiritual, with God and with Jesus. From helpguide.org, it says, in the long term, regularly practicing gratitude can and may rewire, I'm paraphrasing here, may rewire your brain. What does that mean? Well, think about it this way. Healthy habits come when you keep practicing them, right? If you eat, if you're eating well, if you're eating healthily, that's pretty much a daily thing you're doing. And then before you know it, you don't think about eating healthy, you just are. If you stretch, if you do any type of physical activity, it becomes part and parcel of your life and your schedule. And then it's not an anomaly to do that. Let me fix this. This is all wonky. This is what I get for freestyle cutting, friends. It's amazing that I was able to cut out a paper planner this week. And, paper pattern for sewing. It's amazing I did that. So what does that mean? It rewires your brain. And so in the long term, that means equals better sleep, decrease in depression. It really is huge, and it improves your focus. Okay, it can improve your what they call emotional resilience. One quote that I really loved is, gratitude is like a muscle that you can build. When we practice gratitude and it makes us happier and focusing on the good, right? Well, what happens is your body releases serotonin and dopamine. What are those? Those are hormones that boost happiness and brain happiness and pleasure and so forth. So it boosts your mental abilities, sense of self, it really, your self-esteem, and it increases your patience, which I thought was an interesting point. I could use patience increasing. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, this world just gets on my last good nerve. Well, maybe I need to work on my attitude versus thinking other people are the problem, right? It reduces by practicing gratitude and improving your mind, improving your patience. You will thus reduce impulsivity. you can increase your self-control. And I think that's kind of interesting, right? They're saying it can even enhance the quality of your relationships. And that makes sense to me too, because think about it. Have you been around someone who's just soul sucking, for lack of a better phrase? They just are so negative and so toxic. They're like a leech, taking all the positivity out of you. I've been in those situations, and it generally causes me a lot of distress. Well, the converse is true too. If you are grateful and focusing on that and grasping onto the good, you lift yourself up, but then you in turn lift up your relationships. And we are required as Christians, as people of faith, to put good into the world. So in doing so, yeah, it's really, really incredibly important that we do so. All right, so I'm going to cut this a little bit. I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to decorate it, but I want to integrate some of these. So I will cut this probably off camera because you don't need to see me cutting constantly. But yeah, I think I'll do that before I continue. So far, so good, friends. Okay, so I did take a moment and cut those, and now I want to get in here. There's also the physical side of gratitude, which I do think is important. But before I get there, let me be honest with you. We all age, and people make different choices regarding aging. Hear me out. There is a connection to the Lord with this. And I do not fault anybody's choices in how they age and what they want to do or don't want to do. And what I mean by that are cosmetic remedies, things, wow, these are heavy, things that are, whether it's Botox or fillers or surgery, people can do whatever they want. And I don't disparage them for doing this. It's an individual choice. I have decided for me, I wanted to kind of grow older as I am and embrace these ridiculous wrinkles and all the things that sometimes drive me crazy as I age, because it's just, first off, I have an illness and I don't want to ingest anything, I don't want my body to deal with the Botox or anything like that. I just don't think it would be a good thing. And there's that. On the other side, I also feel like I need to embrace this moment for me personally. I have earned these bloody wrinkles, and I'm going to hold on to them, if you will. Okay? And so what do I, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean? What does that look like for me? Well, it looks like for me is aging naturally. And what does that mean exactly? I don't know. But I just know that God made me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and that's who I'm going to be. Well, it's hard to hold on to your self-esteem as you see signs of aging, because this society wants you to look 21. Well, you know what? I know a lot more than I did at 21, and I don't want to look like I'm 21. I want to look like me. So a few years ago, I decided I was going to up my style game. And what I mean by that is I was going to wear more hats. I was going to add a little more panache and style to my clothing, because it makes me feel good. And so now when I go out, or even if I'm in, chances are I'm wearing my, at-home leggings. Do you do that? Do you have leggings to go out and leggings for home? So I have that. But I also leaned into God and said, you know what? I am still here. I know many people have passed on. I have a chronic illness and I'm still here and I'm kicking it. I need to open up and be grateful to you for this moment, because you have given us so, so much. And once I did that and I was grateful for who and what I am right at this moment, it changed my entire approach to aging. And understand something. I have a chronic illness. I have scleroderma. And it impacts the right side of my body compared to the left more so. And my skin is like skin tissue or scar tissue. It's a bit disfigured. I am fabulous. Okay, I don't care if my skin's disfigured, wrinkly, whatever. One side of my face, because of the scleroderma, is aging faster than the other because it hurts your muscles and so forth. I don't care. I'm not giving in, and I'm not going to give up. And so, yes, I'm going to be grateful instead of saying, oh, look, another wrinkle. I really don't look at the wrinkles. I really don't care about the bloody wrinkles. And I'm just going to step forward being me. And that's what gratitude does. Again, Psalm 139:14, I praise you for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And so higher self-esteem is definitely part of gratitude. What do you think? This is kind of lovely, isn't it? If I say so myself, that's really heavy, but I like it. And I even like this on here. So we're going to kind of put this here for the front piece. I like that. I'm going to remove these for now because I think we're going to play with these a little bit. So let me take some of these out and then we can, figure it out. We're getting there. The other thing is physically, gratitude will do many good things for you. And again, another story for you. The last few months have been a bit of stress. And I don't like it, I don't want it, I don't need it, but there it is with me. So what I decided to do, it's kind of matchy, I don't know, is let me explain. I started to get optical migraines, and I've had them before, but they started to come into me, and they were scaring me, and I felt like my blood pressure, I have a Fitbit, and I could see my heart rate was going up when it shouldn't have been, like I was taxing myself, my blood pressure. And I thought, am I developing some kind of high blood pressure? And thankfully, that's one aspect of my health. My heart, thank God, has been really good. So I said, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing, and in what way am I doing it? And how am I contributing to what's going on within me? And I sat down with myself and I said, you know what? I got to do better. I'm thinking about putting this in as a tip in. Maybe. We'll see. But I did. I said to myself, I have to do better. So I really upped my physical activity. I redid. I thought I was taking enough time for myself, but I don't think I was. So I did that. I upped that a bit. And lo and behold, knock wood, the optical migraines have gone. And I feel like, okay, what do I want to do here? I'm trying to get these out. These are heavy. Okay. So I just feel like I really needed to improve me. And I was able to do that in short order by stopping. Well, gratitude and practicing gratitude helps in that. You stop yourself, you realign yourself, and you say, wait a minute, what am I doing? How am I, you know what I mean? And it does have a physical component to it. Another quote here for you is, research also shows that grateful people are more likely to engage in healthy behaviors, including, end quote, exercise, healthy food, slower living. And yeah, I can see that. Okay, I can definitely see that. And I'm telling you, the optical migraines are part of the reason that I wanted to do this, because I feel like I've been missing some of the boat here. Okay, so how do you practice gratitude, and how do you integrate gratitude with your faith? First off, you keep a gratitude journal, which is what we're doing here. Okay. Write notes of appreciation to people or about things that have positively impacted you. And when I say that, friends, hear me out. Hear me out. You don't have to send the notes to somebody. You can also write a letter to God in appreciation. Sharing gratitude with God and Jesus or Jesus for all they've done in your life. Think about gratitude that way. And to me, that does make a difference. You know, write, create a happy space with gratitude in the center of it. So now, you know, and that's what we're doing today. I got to be honest with you. I kind of want to use these and I kind of want to save them. Sorry about the blinds. It's just the time of day that I have to film here. I'm going to dig through my stash over here and look for what else I may have, friends. Okay, I think we're going to use these in conjunction with those. So I have some ideas here. So gratitude, also, you write up letters of appreciation, you write it down. The other thing to do with gratitude, and we're getting into now the faith part of this discussion. Hear me out, friends. This is really important. What it does, and it did this for me, I created a trauma journal last year to go through things that had happened, my life, you know, so forth. In working through that, I came to a place of gratitude. So what you can do is revisit and reframe past events of your life that have left scars on you and say to them, you know, that you are wresting back control of your life story and that you're not going to it's not just about what happened, it's what you're doing going forward. And that's where we turn into our faith study part of this. Gratitude helps you express and strengthen your faith. You put your focus on God and on Jesus, and you start to put them first and foremost, and you start to see, wait a minute, they are always with me every day going forward. And what I've done too is in living in gratitude is reframing the past and then letting it go and trying to see the lessons and purpose God has brought to me. And so, yeah, that is something I do all the time in different journaling spaces. And just this channel, I am grateful for this channel. And it does matter to me that you're here. You help me more than you realize. Well, that's part of the social part of gratitude. And sharing faith with you, God, Jesus, and how they're with us strengthens my faith and makes me even more grateful for you. I hope that makes sense. I really hope it does. You see yourself as part of God's kingdom rather than what's going on here on the ground, if you will. And by doing that, you reframe and repurpose yourself a bit differently. I don't have a lot of these, so I think I'm going to have to use some regular paper, not just the colored paper. So I'll tell you what, I'll do one colored and we'll do one without color. How's that? We'll do one of these. Anyway, those are some, you know, God and Jesus are always walking with you. They're carrying you at times. They're lifting you up. And what do we do when we get lost in the weeds and we don't see that? Well, we lose sight. And we often lose our focus on gratitude. And I'm saying to you, don't do that. We can do better. You appreciate the life of Jesus in a new way when you practice gratitude. You look at his lessons. You look at his sermons. You look at his life and you say, wow, you know, this is amazing. I'm part of something so much larger than myself. And I need to see that and be there at that moment. And yeah, it does help. It really, it's amazing what it does for you. You see the good in adversity, as I was saying, and reframing and revisiting some of the things that you have gone through, because we all walk through plenty of fire. Trust me on that. You know it and I know it. And by staying in gratitude, we look back and say, oh, okay, that did not work out because fill in the blank. And I am moving forward now because it did not work out, which is what God wanted for me. And I didn't realize it. And we think we know better than God, and no, we don't. We just don't. Gratitude, practicing gratitude brings you peace and comfort and a sense of, I don't have to carry this all. God has carried me through this. He's got me always and in all ways. Also, in terms of your faith life, and this is from ascripturedlife.com, and I will reference it below, friends. You know I will. We need to enjoy present moments. You know, people will say, oh, I'll be happy when blah, blah, blah happens. I'll be happy if and when this changes or that changes. Well, if that's the way you approach life and gratitude, then you're not going to be happy or grateful. Sorry, you're not. Because what's going to happen is you're always waiting. Okay, let's talk about Psalm 118:24. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. This day, not tomorrow, not the day after, not the next month when, you're changing something. This is the day. What does that mean? That means even when the going's tough, focus on God. Know that He's got you. Know that He's with you. He is always there. You need to be grateful to Him even in the hardest moments. And that is hard sometimes. We both know that. But no, we're not supposed to falter. We're not supposed to just, be awash in nonsense. We're supposed to focus on the good that we have at this moment. Because if you're always waiting for something to pan out to then be thankful, well, then you're going to spend a lot of your life waiting. Gratitude brings a sense that things are enough, right? It gives you peace, as I said with that verse in Matthew. Do not be anxious, because gratitude helps you to push back on anxiety and see it differently. I'd like to share a few more scriptures with you before we go. Again, the echoes from Matthew to Philippians, chapter 4, verse 6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, thanksgiving, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Philippians 4:19. And my God will supply every need of yours according to His riches and glory in Christ Jesus. And I like to end it on this verse, which I think is really incredibly special. Hebrews 12:28. Therefore, let us be grateful for receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken. And thus, let us offer to God acceptable worship with reverence and awe. By practicing gratitude, we are showing our awe and our thanks to God. And you know what? That's a good thing, friends. That's a really good, incredible, and wonderful thing. So as November comes, I did write at one point an article with journaling prompts for gratitude. I'm probably going to tweak it a little bit and repost it again on Medium. Completely free journaling prompts for you. They do align with, faith. And hopefully in them you find something you can use. Incidentally, as a former educator, my journaling prompts aren't your average, what is making you happy today? No, I go deep. I make you go deep, because that's the type of instructor I was and am. So I will post those. I will share them in the community pages when it's time. But yeah, I just wanted to do this today to get myself set up. And especially because this next week I'll be heading home for my mom's service, and I want to be grateful to her for her life and for everything she stood for. Okay, friends, I will write the verses. You can reference them in your own Bible, but I'll share them below. And we're good for today, friends. Thank you. I made a mess here. Thank you so much for being with me, for sharing with me, for growing with me. I need you to understand that I mean what I say. I am truly grateful for your presence here. You help me more than you might realize, friends. So thank you again for being here. Be blessed, be well, and thank you, friends. Bye now.